All right, guys, welcome back to Tech Insights with Dylan White. Hopefully, you guys had a great Monday. Hopefully, you guys have planned your week out and started to get your steps and at least touch some grass. I know I did. Started the week off really well with over almost 12,000 steps. So just really making an intentional effort to get out and make sure I do touch that blade of grass every day. The new baby has helped me do that. Gotta get the baby walks in. So I've been really excited. For those of you that were here yesterday, you'll remember that we went over the last piece of basic identity concepts, identity protection, and identity governance. We also covered the enter functions, right? We covered all that great stuff, but we also then dived right into security with the Azure security basics, right? So we covered all the in-depth infrastructure functions. And today we're going to go one step level into further. And we're going to go into the depths of Azure protection, Azure security with Defender for Cloud. We're going to dive into Microsoft Sentinel, two things that are absolutely important when you start talking about Microsoft security solutions, with Microsoft Sentinel being one of the most widely adopted SIEMs over the last 12 to 18 months. So let's get right to it. Thank you guys for being here. All right, guys, let's dive right into the next module of our 30-day journey. We're going to describe the security management capabilities in Microsoft Azure. After this section, you'll be able to describe Microsoft Defender for Cloud. You'll be able to understand how security policies and initiatives improve cloud security posture. And then you'll also be able to understand the three pillars that Microsoft Defender for Cloud protects against cyber threats and vulnerabilities. Defender for Cloud is very close to my heart. I actually know a few different people in the Defender for Cloud product space from the Microsoft team. So if you have any questions after this module, please feel free to hit me up and I'll try to point you out in the right way. Lots of growth here, lots of different product name changes. So let's get right to it. So first, what is Microsoft Defender for Cloud? Right, it is a cloud-native application protection platform, otherwise known as a CNAPP, with a set of security measures and practices designed to protect cloud-based applications from various cyber threats and vulnerabilities. Defender for Cloud combines capabilities of a development security operations (DevSecOps) solution, cloud security posture management (CSPM), and the cloud workload protection platform. Right, it's there to protect servers, containers, storage, databases, and other workloads. Right, so other vendors out there that you could think of from a Defender for Cloud competitive space would be Wiz, right? So Wiz is a huge competitor to the Defender for Cloud ecosystem, right? So when we start talking about how different vendors add in, I'll add in a layer of things that you might have heard of already that could also be in the Microsoft space. That was one of the questions somebody asked me before. I do think that helps. All right, so what is Defender for Cloud, right? It unifies your DevOps security management capabilities. It strengthens and allows you to manage your cloud security posture, right? And it protects your cloud workloads across multi-cloud and on-premises, right? And so what is DevSecOps, right? Defender for Cloud allows you to help incorporate good security practices early in the software development process, right? DevSecOps at its foundation, right? It's available for not only GitHub, GitLab, Azure DevOps, there's a few other platforms that it integrates into, right? And then CSPM, right? It's very basic of all these CNAPP platforms, right? You got to be able to do cloud security posture management and helps you assess your systems automatically and alert security staff in your department when the vulnerability is found, right? It uses tools and services in your cloud environment to monitor and prioritize security enhancements and features, right? They prioritize. That's the huge thing. You got to make sure you know what the priorities are. Otherwise, it's just 1,000 alerts to have 1,000 alerts, right? And then there's CWPP, otherwise known as Cloud Workload Protection Platform, right? It's proactive security principles, right, that requires you to enable and implement security practices that protect your workloads from threats, right? We talked a bit about it already, but it's servers, containers, storage accounts, anything that can be hosted inside of your cloud environment, right? And through all of these, right, through its DevOps, CSPM capabilities, it allows organizations to manage the security of their workloads in the cloud and on premises, right, and improve overall security posture. Super important, right? So it's basically taking all three of these tools and building it into one greater integrated platform. Honestly, love it. It's one of the best tools out there from all organizations. If you're in the cloud at all, you should be using Defender for Cloud or a CNAPP tool of some sort. All right. So how do security policies and initiatives improve cloud security posture? Right. An Azure policy definition, which is created in Azure policy, is a rule that specifies security conditions that you want controlled, right? It supports built-in definitions, but also custom definitions. A security initiative, right, is a collection of Azure policy definitions or rules grouped together for a specific goal or purpose. Right? So think of a security initiative could be a compliance initiative where we're taking 6 to 10 different Azure policies and putting it into one initiative. Right? To implement policy definitions or initiatives, you need to assign them to any scope of resources that are supported, such as management groups, subscriptions, resource groups, or individual resources. So Defender for Cloud is able to then apply these security initiatives to the subscriptions, right? They contain one or more security policies, right? And they result in a set of recommendations that will then surface back into the Defender for Cloud ecosystem. And so there's a few different ones already, but there's already a Microsoft Security Initiative, which is created just as a Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, right? It's automatically assigned when you enable the Defender for Cloud ecosystem. And what is the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark? Right? It is a Microsoft authored set of guidelines for security and compliance and best practices, right, to help you improve your security of workloads, data, and services inside your Azure environment or multi-cloud, right? So if you connect in your AWS, Microsoft will then extend that, right? And then short term, NCSB, it builds on the controls from the CIS and the National Institute of Security Standards. You'll see that a lot of the Microsoft defaults will always relate back to one of two things, either the CIS, Center for Internet Standards, or the NIST, right? 100% of the time, that's where Microsoft is grounding a lot of their data and compliances, right? And the spoiler, right, if you ever want to go look at what it is, it's an Excel spreadsheet, right? There's a lot of different data, right? It's what each item is, the control domain, right? Industry frameworks, recommendations for each, the Azure guidance, and AWS guidance. Right now, there's no GCP guidance. I think they're working on hopefully getting that rolled out sometime in 2025, I believe. Right? It also includes links to information on implementation that relates to the Azure and AWS. Information about the security functions as the customer or who may be accountable, responsible, or consulted, right? Otherwise known as a RACI, for those of you that have never heard of that. And then you can see all that below. Right? So you can see we have the identity of it, right? We have the control domain, we have the CIS controls that's mapped back to, our industry framework is mapped back to, and then the recommendations going across. Right? So what does that look like in Defender for Cloud? I like to talk through it in diagram form. So those of you that aren't familiar with Azure, get used to this. This is how I will talk about it going forward, and I will talk about it when we dive deeper into the different technology stacks. So if you look at this, you can see that we have Azure pulled up with Microsoft Defender for Cloud pulled up, and then we have the regulatory compliance, right? So we dove into it and you can see that we have the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, but there's also a few other over there, right to the right, which is ISO 27001, PCI DSS 3. Then you have the SOC TSP, right? All kinds of very cool different compliance and industry standards built out for you automatically. You just apply them to your resources or subscription group and it deploys automatically. It's amazing, right? It takes probably anywhere from, we'll call it 24 to 48 hours to start seeing recommendations flow into Defender for Cloud. It is a very, very cool tool. And why we do it, so when we start looking at the SC-900 in different rooms, you're going to want to understand is that you get prioritized recommendations with a short description of the issue. You also get the remediation steps to carry it out and the affected resources. Right? Those are the three things that you're going to be able to drag out from a security recommendation in Defender for Cloud. All right, what is cloud security posture management, right? One of the main pillars, we talked a bit about it, right? There's three of them. This one, though, being cloud security posture management, the main focus is helping you efficiently and effectively improve your cloud security. It also allows you to gain visibility into your current security situation. So in there, you'll have a security score, right? Our security score, which is central for all of the Microsoft Defender ecosystems. But you have a security score that provides visibility to current security posture based on cross-cloud resources for security issues, right? And a single score, which tells you at a glance what your security situation is. Right? Obviously, the higher, the better. The lower, right, your cloud infrastructure is at risk, right? You automatically get access to this once you enable the Defender for Cloud Security Benchmark, right? And then it's immediately applied. So you can see here, this organization, right? Their security score is 43%. They have 184 unassigned recommendations, with 156 of those being overdue. And then you can also see the balance of them, right? 55% of their security scores and recommendations are based on Azure, 31% AWS, GCP phone, right? Then you can see hardening recommendations, right? This is also in the CSPM tool itself, right? Provides hardening recommendations based on identified security misconfigurations and weaknesses, right? They're grouped into security controls, right? Each control is a logical group of related security recommendations and reflects vulnerable attack surfaces, right? Your score only improves when you remediate all of the recommendations for a single resource within a control, right? Using these security recommendations, you strengthen the security posture of your organization's Azure hybrid and multi-cloud resources. So if we take a look, right, we have a security score of 58%, and then we have a remediation status, we have a resource health, but down here we have controls, right? Immediate vulnerabilities. You can see how much they'll increase your score. You can see the number of unhealthy resources. Right? So we won't get so we want to look at this, enable encryption at risk. Right? If I'm being assigned this by a security manager, right? Hey, Dylan, come help us elevate our secure score, because they were tasked to do that by their directors, right? We would go in and say, hey, let's go with the lowest hanging fruit first. And we say, listen, we're going to enable encryption at rest for all of our resources. That will up us by 5 points, 3 points, and 5%. Let's do it, right? That's how we kind of look at it, what that risk is, and the balance of risk and reward. And then you have plan options, right? So you have foundational multi-cloud CSPM capabilities for free, right? Which includes the secure score, cloud security benchmark. We can then extend that across the different clouds, right? But then there's also a subscription version, which is enabled by account, right? And it includes all asset discovery, right? Regulatory standards, custom security policies. Right? You can see all this, but there's tons. For containers, all kinds. All right, what is the enhanced security of Defender for Cloud? All right, so you have what's called Defender for Plans. And as you study for this test, I wouldn't say you need to memorize what each plan is or their cost, but you do need to understand the different Defender types, right? So you have Defender for servers, app service, stores, SQL, Kubernetes, container registries, Key Vault, resource manager, DNS, open source relational protections, right? It's open source databases at its best, right? There's different plans for each. And then in each of them, right, they have different protection policies and features, right? So you have comprehensive input detection and response. You have vulnerability scanning, right? You have multi-cloud security. Right? We talked a bit about it, but you can extend Defender for servers to EC2 instances in AWS, right? That's just a simple sample. Hybrid security, right? You're leveraging tools like Azure Arc. We can integrate on-prem ESXi hosts and virtual machines into, again, Defender for Cloud, and extending that into a hybrid ecosystem. Right? We have threat protection alerts. We can monitor networks, machines, cloud services for incoming attacks and post-breach attack activity. We can streamline investigation with interactive tools and contextual threat intelligence. Right? And then we can track compliance. Right? One of the biggest tools we just talked about is governance compliance. Right? You can track that using Defender for Cloud. Right? Hybrid and multi-cloud. Right? We can add standards to then track as well. And then we can track access and application controls, right? Can block malware, unwanted applications, right? Machine learning, powered recommendations to adaptive workloads, right? Based on Azure VMs. You can do AWS, multiples, all kinds. And so you can see enable enhanced Microsoft Security Tools Defender for Cloud. See the plans, right? What it is. Right? The free one, right? You see what you get. Just continuous assessment, security recommendations, and secure score. And you don't get any of the rest. All right. Now, what is DevOps security management, otherwise known as DevSecOps? Right. It combines the dev portion, right, which is software development and operations, to unite the people, process, and technology, and the application development, delivering operations, right. And security on top of it then makes it DevSecOps, right. And so it's available in Defender for Cloud. It's another one of the pieces, and it allows for unified visibility into DevOps security posture. It allows to strengthen cloud resource configurations, right? Infrastructure as code templates. You can prioritize remediation of critical issues in your code, right? You can see right here we have DevOps coverage, right? You have a whole security overview, right? Based on vulnerability. You can see we found 169 code scanning vulnerabilities, 18 exposed secrets. That's huge. If I'm a DevSecOps manager, I can then come in immediately and say, why do I have secrets in the cloud? Let's get those out immediately. You can wind them back from the repos. It's amazing. Right? So you can also see we've connected GitHub and Azure DevOps. Right. So now let's see what we look like from a knowledge. All right, guys, let's get into the knowledge check, right? So let's understand what the concepts are. Remember, everything for the SC-900 is conceptual based. There will not be any administrative question. So you need to understand the basic functions, right? So when you go back through these resources, please make sure you understand the concepts, right? What they are. So let's dive in to the first question, right? Defender for Cloud has 3 pillars of cloud security. Which pillar provides visibility to help you understand your current security situation and provide hardening recommendations? Remember, hardening recommendations, right? Your current security situation and what that looks like. An organization wants to add vulnerability scanning to its Azure resources to view, investigate, and remediate findings directly within Microsoft Defender for Cloud. What functionality of Defender for Cloud would they need to consider? Right? Vulnerability scanning for its Azure resources, right? Secure score recommendations functionality from CSPM, enhanced functionality provided from the Defender plans. Right? Remember, you want to see vulnerability scanning, right? That's going to be the enhanced functionality. Right? Which framework does Microsoft Defender for Cloud apply as a default initiative for security and compliance and provides best practices and recommendations? Remember, default is the Cloud Security Benchmark. It's not the Center for Center for Internet Security Framework, which is part of the Cloud Security Benchmark. What capability allows you to manage your connected DevOps environments and provide your security teams the visibility to discover issues within those environments, right? The Defender for DevOps Console, Secure Score, or the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark. It's going to be the Defender for DevOps Console. So this is the only one I'm a little concerned about. I honestly think it's the cloud workload protection, but it could also be just the CSPM tool because CLBP is part of it. Comes to the platform, it starts to get a little muddy for you and me. So let's see. Nope, knew it. So it's the CSPM, right? It's the one that provides the visibility to current situation. So there you have it. Very straightforward what the actual Defender for Cloud is, right? Understanding Defender for Cloud and different pillars. We've gone pretty in depth about those, right? So now let's go into Microsoft Sentinel, right? All right, guys. So for those of you that don't know what Sentinel is or what a SIEM is, you're about to find out. But Microsoft Sentinel is a scalable, cloud-native security information and event management SIEM and security orchestration automated response SOAR solution. Right? We'll be able to understand also how it's introduced with Microsoft Security Copilot, which is the security Gen AI tool. Right? So understand key concepts of SIEM and SOAR, how Sentinel provides threat detection and mitigation, and we'll be able to understand what Microsoft Security Copilot is. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right. So, key concepts of SIEM. Right? A SIEM system is a tool that organizations use to collect data from across their entire estate, including infrastructure, software, and resources. It does analysis, looking for correlations of anomalies, and generates alerts and incidents. Right? What is a SOAR? Right? What is SOAR? It is a system that takes alerts from many sources, right, from the SIEM. It then triggers the action-driven automated workflows and processes to run security tasks that mitigate the issue, right? To provide a comprehensive approach, right, it needs to use a solution that embraces or combines both SIEM and SOAR. So when Microsoft made the investment to build a tool of their own, they said we want to tool that combines SIEM and SOAR. Right? Right. How does Microsoft Sentinel, does threat detection, right, happen inside of Microsoft Sentinel? Right. Effective management of the network security perimeter requires the right combination of tools and systems. Right. Sentinel, right, allows you to take all the alerts, the threat visibility, proactive hunting, and threat response all inside. So if you look at the actual circle, right, Sentinel collects security data across the enterprise. It then detects threats with vast intelligence already built in. Then you're able to investigate critical incidents with help from AI. And then you're able to rapidly respond with automated protection. Right? So if you look at this again, right, we can collect data at cloud scale across all users, devices, applications, and infrastructure, on-prem and in multi-cloud. Right, there's over 300 different connectors into Microsoft Sentinel ecosystem through Content Hub, all kinds of different data you can bring in. Right, you can then detect previously uncovered threats and minimize false positives. You can then investigate the threats with artificial intelligence, hunt activities at scale, right? And then you can also respond to incidents rapidly with built-in orchestration and automation of common security tasks, right? Sentinel helps enable end-to-end security operations in a modern security operations center. You can connect Sentinel to your data, right? Wherever that data may be, right? Workbooks, right? After you connect the data sources to Sentinel, right, workbooks are intended for SOC engineers and analysts to visualize data, right? You'll see canvas for data. A lot of the different data sources have custom workbooks built out for them, right? And now analytics, right? Again, Microsoft Sentinel is a huge data platform, and a lot of the new terminology, Microsoft Sentinel considered a gigantic data security lake, right? It uses analytics to correlate alerts into incidents, right? So we're not just looking every single alert and getting alert fatigue. We might have 50 alerts from one incident. Right? It helps correlate them across the different data sources. Right? Incidents are groups of related alerts that create an actionable possible threat that you can investigate and resolve. It also gives you, if you don't have an ITSM tool of your own as an organization, it gives you the ability to manage incidents with pieces of ITSM built in, right? You can do responses, you can add actions, you can add notes, all kinds of different things, right? And then automation orchestration with playbooks, right? Playbook is how on the back end is just an Azure Logic app, right? So you can create automated workflows, right, to respond to events. And then from investigation, right, deep investigation tools with mapping, also tracking back into the MITRE systems, right? Then you can hunt, right? You can also bookmark the events from your hunts. Notebooks is a concept, again, data security lake. Notebooks are just Jupyter notebooks, right, which is open source web app, allows you to create and share documents, live code, equations, visualizations, right? Of all the things inside Microsoft Sentinel, I think notebooks are probably the least used thing yet, just because there's not that many people from the security world that truly understand Jupyter notebooks. Then you have community, right? Powerful resource for threat detection. Analysts constantly create and add new workbooks. They have everything from hunting queries, just everything in that community. It's crazy. It is the shiny, it will drive you down rabbit holes you haven't even thought of. Then you have the Content Hub, which is crucial. It is the crux of everything that you will ever bring into Microsoft Sentinel. You can't even bring in Microsoft Security Alerts without going into the Content Hub. Right? So Content Hub is your centralized location, discover and manage out-of-the-box package solutions. Think of it as connectors. If you want to think just data in general, Content Hub allows you to build out connectors, right? And those packages of Sentinel content or API integrations that provide single-step deployment enablement, right? They fulfill end-to-end product domain or industry vertical scenarios. Right? So the way I describe this to organizations is that Content Hub allows you to take third-party systems that might not be in the Microsoft ecosystem, or even first-party Microsoft ecosystem. They have pre-built definitions, right? So they may have workbooks, they may have a data parser, they may have actual playbooks, and they may have visualizations that are already pre-built in the connector themselves. So let's get into the next one. There's lots inside Sentinel, and if you guys want to do a Sentinel walkthrough, please let me know. I'd love to do it. All right, so one of the newest features out there on the world, being inside the Microsoft ecosystem for as long as I have, I don't think I've heard something mentioned so many times in so short a few months as Copilot. There's probably a million different copilots. In reality, I think it's like 60 something. It's still ludicrous, growing every day. Microsoft Security Copilot, though, it allows, right, security organizations, right, to try to reduce the speed, right? Also account for the lack of hiring, right? There's so many open roles. It's allowing AI to kind of fill some gaps and make the streamline, right? Streamline sources for your SOC, your security engineers, and the security team as a whole, right? Because organizations are facing an increased number of attacks, right? And sophistication has grown, right? There's a talent shortage, right? So driving the need for automation, integration, and consolidation of security tools, right? And visibility, right? Organizations don't have enough visibility into their security, privacy, compliance, and governance suites, right? Organizations need to act quickly to address all security challenges they face, but working at human speed, right, even without the talent shortage, isn't enough, right? Human speed just cannot keep up, right? Because just as Gen AI has been great for productivity and organizations as a whole, threat actors are using the same Gen AI to create attacks, right? So Microsoft Security Copilot is the first and only generative AI security product to help defend organizations at machine speed and scale. So you can see most advanced Gen AI models, OpenAI with Microsoft Security, with hyperscale AI infrastructure, with Cybertrain model, with security skills. And so every single Microsoft Security suite of products is getting skilled, right? We're skilling and grounding the Gen AI, right, in that tool, right? And then you get evergreen threat intelligence from over 65 trillion signals. Remember yesterday I talked about how many signals Microsoft sees from a security operations standpoint every single day. I thought it was 45 trillion. That's what it was last year. I went back and did 65 is the new number they're stating, right? With end-to-end security tooling. Right? So you can see the center of Security Copilot is a prompt bar that allows you security analysts to ask questions in natural language, right? Primary use cases right now are security posture, incident response, and security reporting, right? It's a lot. It's definitely not in preview anymore. So Microsoft will go back and update that. It's definitely in GA, and it's integrated with all kinds of different tools. So it's definitely already integrated with Sentinel. It's integrated with Microsoft Entra, Intune, preview integrations with Purview. It's already natively integrated with Defender for Cloud. It's rampantly getting everywhere. So, but the best part about it, and this is just me talking as me now, is that Security Copilot allows organizations to bring, as long as you're using Microsoft Sentinel, this is the key. If you're not in Sentinel yet, you can't use it. You cannot use the benefits of Security Copilot as much as other organizations can. So let's get into a knowledge check. Let's see where we're at. So, as a lead admin, it's important to convince your team to start using Microsoft Sentinel. You put together a presentation of the 4 security operation areas of Microsoft Sentinel. You collect, detect, investigate, redirect, collect, detect, investigate, respond, or repair. So basically the R. What is R? Is it redirect, respond, or repair? It's respond 100%. Your estate has many different data sources where data is stored. Which tool should be used with Sentinel to quickly gain insights across your data as soon as the data source is connected? Right? Azure Monitor workbooks, playbooks, or Defender XDR. So remember, which tool should be used with Microsoft Sentinel to quickly gain insights? Insights is data. That's workbooks. Right? Remember, Azure Monitor might have tricked you. Azure Monitor is just the back end. Right? There you go. 100 for 100. All right, guys. That's going to be it for day 9 of the 30-day journey. Remember, there's only a few more units left of the actual security modules, and we're going to dive into practice assessments. We're going to dive into live Ask Me Anythings. We're going to dive into job niches, and hopefully we can get 1 or 2 people to take the test. But today, we learned everything there is about Defender for Cloud, and then we also learned about Microsoft Sentinel, 2 of my favorite topics to discuss and actually talk through with organizations. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Thanks again. See you guys tomorrow.